Hey guys, welcome to Entertainment Talk Nation. This is Rob, and as you can see, the shelves are empty because of this video. I'm going to share my very small collection of figures with you. Like I said, I wanted to do this for a lot of you guys who don't get an opportunity to come to the streams, and even though you can see the figures while I'm doing the videos, you can't really see them. It's not the most optimal setup, and things are going to change, especially when I get one of my more prized incoming, not a figure, it's a statue, but it's the, I'll put a picture of it up. It's the Prime Godzilla. It's a portion of the diorama statue. So this one is about 2 feet tall and weighs about 70 pounds, and I'm supposed to be getting it anywhere between now and the end of the year. And yeah, it was pretty expensive. I did monthly installment payments dating back to last June, and I made the last payment in August. That was the final payment. So yeah, I'm looking forward to getting that. But let's get started. So the first X Plus that I bought, my very first collectible figure, was my 1984 Godzilla right here. This was the first one I bought. And if you've been on this channel long enough, and if you've watched most of the content, you would know that the 1984 Godzilla X Plus has been long coveted by me. And this one is actually, let me see if I can get it in focus here so you can get a better look at it. This one actually is more of a little, yeah, there we go, is more updated from the one that you might have seen back in 2013, 2014. And I love this figure so much. This is my favorite one, still is, even with the other ones that I have. If any of you guys know me, you know that 1984 Godzilla is my favorite design. Yes, even with the derp face, I still love the design. And yeah, I got him, I want to say in let me see. I want to say either early 2019 or late 2018. Is when I got him. And yeah, he's definitely been, I mean, I've had him in many different positions, even in my older videos when I lived back in Massachusetts. Yeah, he was right by my side, my first figure. So yep, that's the 1984. And of course, as you know, I gotta clean this a little bit, but yeah, and if you know anything about me on this channel, you know that that is my favorite design and was my coveted first figure. Now, all my figures have somewhat of a theme to it. I'm not an avid hobbyist collector. It's a very expensive habit, and it's not something I would recommend, especially if, like me, you're married with kids. Otherwise, you'll never make rent. So I knew that I had a goal to collect certain figures that I wanted to have. And they all, like I said, they all mean something. This is the 2019 King of the Monsters Godzilla. This came, look, I gotta clean this one too, my god. It's actually probably a good thing that I took these things off. So this is the 2019 King of the Monsters Godzilla. This came in two styles. This one, and obviously there was another one where the back lights up and you could turn it on, and it, you know, came like a glow. I had the blue glow to it to represent the atomic ray. And this one I bought, I want to say probably a year. The rest of the figures I have, I got all of them, I think, after I moved to North Carolina. And yeah, so this was my second one, and I got this one because obviously at the time I said, all right, well, I got my favorite design from Japan, and obviously, while this is the only design from America, this is obviously better than the G98, which I know many of you don't consider to be authentic anyway. But yeah, this one, I like this one over the light up because I like the detail in this. And it's not to say that the light up one wasn't cool. I just like the way it looked better here. You know, I guess I wanted the consistency of everything, but yeah, as you can see, and get a closer look here. See if I can turn his face around. There you go. And very nice design. And it's because of his dorsal plates that I got the 2019 one and not the 2014 one. I still may get the 2014 one day, but for the most part, I do like that they made his traditional dorsal plates in 2019 as opposed to the spikes from 2014. But I don't mind the spikes either. I think the spikes are cool as well. So I just think overall, my God, I gotta clean these things. Just need to dust them off a little bit. I don't touch them very often, as you can see, which is the point, right? But I also need to start cleaning them a little bit. But yeah, so my 2019 Godzilla, like I said, also a favorite design. Of course, I think the United States, or excuse me, Legendary America has done a great job designing Godzilla with respect to the original, but also giving their own taste and their own flair to the design. He's a big boy, but he's a good looking boy. See if I could see that focus there. There we go. So you guys can get another good look. Yep, so very, very cool design. Pretty long tail too. So, oh, and I guess I should add, so what do these cost, right? Well, believe it or not, the 2019 one was not very expensive, even with shipping. I think it came out to about $220 for that one. But that's also because at the time I bought it, it was still rather new when it came out. The 1984 one was a little bit pricier. The 1984 one was more along the lines of, with shipping from Japan, was I think came out to $310 total with shipping, which is not horrible, but obviously much more expensive than the 2019 one. And you can see I still have the boxes right there for both of those figures right behind me. You can see them. So with my little plushy three-headed Ghidorah there that I believe was a gift from my son, or my family, I should say. Now the next two, or actually I should say the next one, is another one I've always coveted. And like I said, these all have some sort of meaning. And the reason I got this Mechagodzilla was because that was the first Godzilla movie I ever saw, was Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla. Now this one is actually not from Mechagodzilla. This one is from Terror of Mechagodzilla. And you can take note of that if you see the arm, it says Mechagodzilla 2. There we go, right there, MG2. So it was tough to find the original Mechagodzilla from the first movie. And then I thought about it and I was like, well, you know what? These are not exactly, the design is not very much different. Plus the other cool thing is that this one, I could actually turn on the eyes, which I like. See if I can, there you go. You see how the eyes change color? Yeah, so it wasn't such a bad deal. Even though it wasn't the original 74, I did get the 75 one, and it did come with the eye. And you can change the style. Like, obviously it has the rainbow feature, and then you can just turn them on like that, and then you can just turn them off. So very cool. And some of the parts do move. So the mouth, I believe, moves. You see what I mean? The hands move, so you can move that. So this one is definitely one of my favorites. And like I said, this kind of, when I look back at this one, it just reminds me that how I started off being a fan was because that was the first movie I saw as a kid. It was Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla. So it was important to me to kind of get this figure, because it is also my favorite Mechagodzilla design. And not to say that the Legendary design isn't cool, and not to say that the Heisei designs aren't pretty cool, but this is just my personal favorite. I'll never ever yield. You know what I mean? Like, this to me is the prime or premier design for Mechagodzilla. So it's my favorite. Also, if I'm not mistaken, the chest does open. But since I don't open it very often, I gotta be very careful with this because I don't want to mess it up. But there it is. I got it. Hold on. It's again, I don't open this very often, so there we go. All right. So the chest does open, and when you do turn on the light, it does have, so you see here, Want to make sure I don't forget to show all those features. So the light does turn on the chest when you turn on the eyes. And if you have the plate open, it'll show the chest. So that's one of the things I love about this one. It's got all those little details. And then you can close it back up, as you see. Closes back up. So yeah, Mechagodzilla is definitely one of my favorites. And this is why this was like my third one. And like I said, not looking to go like crazy collecting every, you know, I'm not a collector, but I have a select few figures that I do want to own, just as like you know, just to kind of remember. Some of them are significant. The next figure I got, it's actually not Godzilla. This is my my Voltron figure, and this is actually a 16, almost 17-inch tall. You can assemble it as Voltron, or you can disassemble it as the Lions. Right now I have it assembled as Voltron. And you can see here, it's pretty big. Now the purpose for getting this one is I was always a fan of Voltron, but also most of the Voltron that I watched as a kid was at my grandmother's house. So when I have this, it also reminds me of my grandmother, who passed away many years ago. And so this played, and not only that, Voltron was introduced to me by my uncle, and I've always liked it. I have the whole series actually on my on my computer. It was given to me a long time ago by a buddy of mine, and I've never bought the DVDs or anything because I've always had it on my computer. But yeah, so this one you can break it down by lion. What I like about this one is that you can make the lions sit, and they look a little bit more. I used to own the old metal die-cast one from back in the 80s. I used to have that one. That one was very bulky though, and not very flexible. This one is not metal. I think it's I forget the word. It starts with a P. But but they're also very flexible, and this one also needs to be cleaned off. But they're very flexible, so you can make them sit in posture. I've had this one because it's so tall. The spot where I usually have it up there, which is the tallest space, it still can't stand up straight. So I've had it like kneel down before and stuff like that. So it's really cool. And again, as a fan of Voltron, and also because of the memories that come with it, that's why I got it. And this was more of a newer one. This one I got, I think, last year, either early or middle last year. And they just released another one that is the same size as this one. It's slightly different. In fact, I'm not quite sure what the difference is. I got to look it up, but it looks pretty much the same. So yeah, and every now and then I'll switch it up. I'll break them down into the lions and have them sit in a row, or I'll just leave them like this. But I think pretty soon I'm going to break them down as lions. So yep. See if I can zoom it in so you guys can get a better look. So here's like the back, you know what I mean, and turn it around. See that? Lions. Yep, so that's my Voltron. Going back to cost, so the Mechagodzilla cost me about the same as the 1984 Godzilla, and the Voltron cost me $400, and I had pre-ordered that. And the last one is probably one that you're all familiar with. This one I got recently, I got earlier this year. And this is my Ultima Godzilla from Godzilla Singular Point. As much as I don't like the show, I do love this Godzilla design. Very cool design. And then this one is the SH Monster Arts, if I'm not mistaken. I got the box up there. Yeah, it is SH. I got the box up there. You can't see it, but I do have it. Yeah, so this one just came out like late last year, or pre-order was last year, and I just received it earlier this year when they finally started shipping them. Which is probably why my Godzilla Prime is going to take a while, because, you know, with the shipping issues and all that. But this one costs $125, and is I mean, you can see that tail is ridiculous. And this was just because I love the design of the Ultima Godzilla. It's a very, very cool design. I've always enjoyed it. And you can actually change the head out, but I like that head with the atomic breath. It's supposed to be coming out. But and like I said, that tail is ridiculous. It's like all tail. It's like you paid for the tail. But yeah, those are my figures. And you know, like I said, I'm not in the game to collect every figure, but I still have a couple that I like to get. Like for example, with a Gamera, love to get a Gamera. As you said in my video earlier, I do think Gamera plays an important role, and I grew up watching Gamera too, so I definitely want to get a Gamera at some point. There's a couple of more figures that I like to add to the collection that represent some of my favorite things about the kaiju genre and the monsters that I enjoy, but probably gonna hold off for a little while, especially after I just spent almost $2 grand on that Godzilla statue that's supposed to be coming soon. So I probably gonna wait till after we get our house next year before I start investing in more figures. But there's not too many more that I want. Probably the Gamera, and I really do want the Terror Mecha Godzilla figure. I like the way that in the 70s when he had that real cute, like inviting, friendly face, and then in Terror Mecha Godzilla, they kind of refined it a little bit so he looks a little bit more menacing. Always wanted to get that figure. That's definitely one I'm keeping an eye out for. And I think the other Godzilla design that I like that I would love to get a figure for is the Destroy All Monsters design. It's been used in some of the other movies, Godzilla versus Smog Monster. That design, that Godzilla design, I actually like, so I like to get that one. And that's probably it, right? I know some people are gonna ask, oh, how come you don't have a Kong? And I've thought about it. You know, I have a hard time getting a Kong. I'm not as big a Kong fan as some people. And when I think Kong, I think the rivalry between him and Godzilla. So the idea of owning a Kong, I don't know. You know what I mean? But for the most part, I have my sights set on a couple more that I'll probably get, and then that's about it. I'll never own all of them, but I knew there's definitely specific ones targeting that I'm targeting that I'd love to own. And I'm not an expert on these things. I'm not, you know, I know there's a whole collector crew out there, a whole community that can break all these things down, and they own all of them, and they have. That's not me. That's not me. You know, there's just a couple of figures that I've seen that I think are beautiful that I really, really want to own. And so far, on my list of ones that I want, I've got a good portion of them. So I'm pretty happy. But that's my small and humble collection. And you'll see there's other things. I got the Godzilla Monopoly back there. I got some Godzilla, some of the Monsterverse comics. I have the art book from Godzilla vs. Kong. I have an Optimus Prime up here that you can't see. You know, hopefully once the statue gets here and I finally kind of redesign this, you'll get to see everything. And then ultimately the goal is when we get the house, I'll have my own room to do these videos and these things, and I'll have a whole section behind me that you can clearly see everything. So that's the ultimate goal down the line. So, but anyway, that's it. I hope you enjoyed looking at the figures, and I guess if you have any questions, you can leave them in the comment section. But I can tell you right now, I'm not a figure expert. All I can say is that the craftsmanship is beautiful, and they're great to look at, and I don't touch them very often. As you saw, a lot of them were a little dusty. I need to maybe start dusting them off, so maybe it's a good thing that but yeah, I don't touch them very often. I just like to have them there. But I'm glad I did today, because they need a little bit of dusting. But anyway, that's it for this video. For those of you who are going to show up tonight at the stream at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. But until then, I will see you guys next week for videos, and we'll go from there. All right, this is Rob signing off for E.T.N, where we don't do news, we just talk entertainment. Take it easy.